Yeah, we're going to jump right into class. It's already quarter after, and we're going to read from Krishna book, and I wanted to make a quote from us. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devam Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamadhiraya Nasta Prayasya Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhagavati Naishtiki. The more guests, the better. Thank you for coming out, John. We are observing the fast today called Haribodhini Ekadashi, if I'm not mistaken. Is it Haribodhini today? Krishna, do you know? Kumar Prabhu. Krishna.
It's this month.
Haribodhini. That's done with our October, November, yeah. Last was Ram, right? Yeah, so this is Haribodhini Ekadashi. And this is the discussion between Lord Brahma and Narad Muni. Lord Brahma said to Narad Muni, "Dear son, O best of the sages, I shall narrate to you the glories of Haribodhini Ekadashi, which eradicates all kinds of sins and bestows great merit and ultimately liberation upon the wise persons who surrender unto the Supreme Lord." Now, I might make mention here that Lord Brahma, in his infinite wisdom, giving to his son Narad Muni this advice on the following of these particular fasts that are observed by those who are following Krishna's arrangements in the universe. He gives this to society as a whole, and not as a means in and of itself of going back to Godhead. Okay? So we have to take these things, what they would say in the English language, with a grain of salt, and that we don't, in Krishna consciousness, promote this as the ultimate do-all, end-all. But because it is so pleasing to Krishna, and Lord Brahma, having been received knowledge directly from Krishna about these fasts, then he reveals to his son, just as a human being who has knowledge of God would perfectly want to have his son given it to them exactly how they got it from God. So this is what Lord Brahma is doing to his son, Narad Muni, bestowing, "O best of the Brahmins, the merits acquired by bathing in the Ganges remain significant only as long as Haribodhini Ekadashi does not come. This Ekadashi, which occurs during the light fortnight of the month of Kartik, is much more purifying than a bath in the ocean, at a place of pilgrimage, or in a lake. This sacred Ekadashi is more powerful in nullifying sin than 1,000 Ashwamedha sacrifices and 100 Rajasuya sacrifices." Rajasuya is that performed for one to become a king. 100 of those, the equivalent. He's talking about keeping this perfectly, and we're going to be able to do that by the recitation of all the names, even though perfectly means fasting from everything all day long, and staying up all night and chanting all night long. But you can gain that same merit, which we will do at the end of this recitation, by simply reciting the names of these Ekadasis. Narad Muni, son of Brahma, the saint among the demigods, inquired, O Father, please describe the relative merits of fasting completely on Ekadashi, eating supper without grains or beans, or eating but once at midday without grains or beans. Lord Brahma replied, if a person eats once at midday on Ekadashi, the sins of his previous birth are erased. If he eats only supper, the sins acquired during the previous 2 births are removed. And if he fasts completely, the sins accumulated during his previous 7 births are eradicated. O son, whatever is only rarely achieved within the 3 worlds is attained by him who strictly observes Haribodhini Ekadashi, a person whose sins equal Mount Sumeru in volume, sees them all reduced to nothing if he simply fasts on Prabodhini Ekadashi, another name for Haribodhini Ekadashi. The sins a person has accumulated over 1,000 previous births are burned to ashes if he not only fasts, but also remains awake throughout Ekadashi night, just as a mountain of cotton can be burned to ashes if one lights a small fire in it. So this is comparing all the various stages of the value of this Ekadashi, and you're all going to get the totality of it as long as you just abide and observe and don't take any grains or beans for the rest of the day. You'll get the total value of this Ekadashi. O best of sages, Naradji, a person who strictly observes this fast achieves the results I have mentioned. Even if one does a small amount of pious activity on this day, following the rules and regulations, one will earn merit equal to Mount Sumeru. Jai Shri Shivani Jai Jai Jagannath Jai Baladev Mahesh Bhagavad Jai Shri Gonitai. Equal to Mount Sumeru in volume. However, a person who does not follow the rules and regulations given in the scriptures may perform pious activities equal to Mount Sumeru in volume, but he will not earn even a small amount of merit. One who does not chant the Gayatri mantra 3 times a day, who disregards fast days, who does not believe in God, who criticizes the Vedic scriptures, who thinks the Vedas bring only ruination to one who follows their injunctions, who enjoys another's wife, who is utterly foolish and wicked, who does not appreciate any service that has been rendered to him, or who cheats others. Such a sinful person, O son, can never perform any religious activity effectively. Be he a Brahmin or a Sudra, whoever tries to enjoy another man's wife, particularly the wife of a twice-born person, is said to be no better than a dog-eater. O best of the sages, any Brahmin who enjoys sex with a widow or a Brahmin lady married to another man brings ruin to himself and his family. Any Brahmin who enjoys illicit sex will have no children in his next life, and any past merit he may have earned is ruined. Indeed, if such a person displays any arrogance toward a twice-born Brahmin or a spiritual master, he loses all his spiritual advancement immediately, as well as his wealth and children. this is happening to people in the world, and they're not knowing what the cause is. So reveals another value of just hearing the teaching of these, because we ourselves are facing sometimes difficulties in our lives which we don't know as well the cause of. And we've committed offenses in our past lives just by looking at our own lives presently. We can see that we've been sinful to get here, and we were sinful previously. These three kinds of men ruin their acquired merits. He whose character is immoral, he who has sex with the wife of a dog eater, and he who appreciates the association of rogues. Whoever associates with sinful people and visits their homes without a spiritual purpose will go directly to the abode of Lord Yamaraj, the superintendent of death. And if someone eats in such a home, his acquired merit is destroyed, along with his fame, duration of life, children, and happiness. Any sinful rascal who insults a saintly person soon loses his religiosity, economic development, and sense gratification, and he at last burns in the fire of hell. Anyone who likes to offend saintly persons, or who does not interrupt someone who is insulting saintly persons, is considered no better than an ass. This is suggesting we should interrupt people when they're making insults against the Lord or his servants. Such a wicked man sees his dynasty destroyed before his very eyes. A person whose character is unclean, who is a rogue or a swindler, or who always finds fault with others, does not achieve a higher destination after death, even if he gives charity generously or performs other pious deeds. Therefore, one should refrain from performing inauspicious acts and perform only pious ones, by which one will acquire merit and avoid suffering. However, the sins of one who, after due consideration, decides to fast on Haribodhini Ekadashi are erased from 100 previous lives, and whoever fasts and remains awake overnight on this Ekadashi achieves unlimited merit, and after death goes to the supreme abode of Lord Vishnu, and 10,000 of his ancestors, relatives, and descendants also reach that abode, Krishna. Even if one's forefathers were implicated in many sins and are suffering in hell, they still attain beautifully ornamented spiritual bodies and happily go to Vishnu's abode. You see what Krishna is revealing to us. This is Krishna revealing it because Brahma, being the son of Krishna, got this knowledge directly from him. O Nard, even one who has committed the heinous sin of killing a Brahmin is freed of all stains on his character by fasting on Haribodhini Ekadashi and remaining awake that night. The merit that cannot be won by bathing in all the places of pilgrimage, performing a horse sacrifice, or giving cows, gold, or fertile land in charity, can easily be achieved by fasting on this holy day and remaining awake throughout the night. Anyone, that word needs to be repeated. Anyone who observes Haribodhini Ekadashi is celebrated as highly qualified and makes his dynasty famous. As death is certain, so losing one's wealth is also certain. Knowing this, O best of sages, one should observe a fast on this day, so dear to Sri Haribodhini Ekadashi. All places of pilgrimage in the three worlds at once come to reside in the house of a person who fasts on this Ekadashi. Therefore, to please the Lord, who holds a disc in his hand, one should give up all engagements, surrender, and observe this Ekadashi fast. One who fasts on this Haribodhini day is acknowledged as a wise man, a true yogi, an ascetic, and one whose senses are truly under control. He alone enjoys this world properly, and he will certainly achieve liberation. This Ekadashi is very dear to Lord Vishnu, and thus it is the very essence of religiosity. Even one observance of it bestows the topmost reward in all the three worlds. O Naradji, whoever fasts on this Ekadashi will definitely not ever enter a womb again. And thus faithful devotees of the Supreme Godhead give up all varieties of religion and simply surrender to fasting on this Ekadashi. For that great soul who honors this Ekadashi by fasting and remaining awake throughout the night, the Supreme Lord, Sri Govinda, personally terminates the sinful reactions that soul has acquired by the actions of his mind, body, and words. Wow. Krishna. This is food for me. I live off the foods of these statements of the scriptures. They're so fulfilling and satisfying. This is even greater than the Somaras to me, because these are eternal truths. O son, for anyone who bathes in a place of pilgrimage, gives charity, chants the holy names of the Supreme Lord, undergoes austerities, and performs sacrifices for God on Haribodhini Ekadashi, the merit this he earned, all becomes imperishable. The devotee who worships Lord Madhava on this day with first-class paraphernalia becomes free from the great sins of 100 lifetimes. A person who observes this fast and worships Lord Vishnu properly is freed from great danger. This Ekadashi fast pleases Lord Janardhan so much that he takes the person who observes it back to his abode. And while going there, the devotee illuminates the 10 universal directions. Whoever desires beauty and happiness should try to honor Haribodhini Ekadashi. And I'm going to read that again. This Ekadashi fast pleases Lord Janardhan, that's Krishna, so much that he takes the person who observes it back to his abode, and while going there, the devotee illuminates the 10 universal directions. Krishna, whoever desires beauty and happiness should try to honor Haribodhini Ekadashi, especially if it falls on Dwadasi. The sins of one's past 100 births, the sins committed during childhood, youth, and old age, in all those lifetimes, whether those sins are dry or wet, are nullified by the Supreme Lord Govinda if one fasts on Haribodhini Ekadashi with devotion. So, Haribodhini Ekadashi is the best Ekadashi. Nothing is unobtainable or rare in this world for one who fasts on this day. for it gives food grains, great wealth, and high merit, as well as eradication of all sin, the terrible obstacle to liberation. Fasting on this Ekadashi is 1,000 times better than giving charity on the day of the solar or lunar eclipse. Again, I say to you, O Naradji, whatever merit is earned by one who bathes in a place of pilgrimage, gives charity, chants japa, recites Vedic mantras, performs sacrifices, and studies the Vedas, is only 1/10,000,000th the merit earned by the person who fasts but once on Haribodhini Ekadashi. Krishna, whatever merit one has acquired in his life by some pious activities becomes completely fruitless if one does not observe the Ekadashi fast and worship Lord Vishnu in the month of Kartik. Therefore, O Narad, you should always worship the Supreme Lord Janardhan and render service to him. Thus, you will attain the desired goal, the highest perfection. On Haribodhini Ekadashi, a devotee of the Lord should not eat in another's house or eat food cooked by a non-devotee. If he does so, he achieves only the merit of fasting on a full moon day. Philosophical discussion of scriptures in the month of Kartik pleases Sri Vishnu more than if one gives elephants and horses in charity or performs a costly sacrifice. Okay, I'm going to point out here, because what the word costly in this instance means, when these Vedic sacrifices are performed, the whole city is gathered together, all of the ghee, all of the gold, all the paraphernalia used by them. Okay? So this is not as much as you could earn in a day or two. When we talk about costly sacrifice, we're talking about that involved by the entire city of people. Whoever chants or hears descriptions of Lord Vishnu's qualities and pastimes, even if but a half, or even a fourth of a verse, attains the wonderful merit derived, wait till we read Bhagavatam, from giving away 100 cows to a Brahmin. O Narad, during the month of Kartik, one should give up all kinds of ordinary duties and devote one's full time and energy, especially while fasting, to discussing the transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Such glorification of Sri Hari on the day so dear to the Lord, Ekadashi, liberates 100 previous generations. 100 previous generations. One who spends his time enjoying such discussions, especially in the month of Kartik, achieves the results of performing 10,000 fire sacrifices and burns all his sins to ashes. Krishna, you're getting that benefit, remember that. You're getting the full benefit of this. By the time we get done with this, you're going to be reciting all the names of the Ekadashi. He who hears the wonderful narrations concerning Lord Vishnu, particularly during the month of Kartik, automatically earns the same merit as that bestowed upon someone who donates 100 cows in charity. Already read that. Okay. Oh, no, I didn't. Wait a minute. O great sage, a person who chants the glories of Lord Hari on Ekadashi achieves the merit earned by donating 7 islands. You know how many islands the earth has? Narad Muni asked his glorious father, O universal sire, O best of all demigods, please tell me how to observe this most sacred Ekadashi. What kind of merit does it bestow upon the faithful? Lord Brahma replied, O son, a person who wants to observe this Ekadashi should rise early on Ekadashi morning during the Brahma Muhurta hour, which is an hour and a half before sunrise, until 50 minutes before sunrise. He should then clean his teeth and bathe in the lake, river, pond, or well, or in his home, as the situation warrants. After worshiping Lord Sri Keshava, he should listen carefully to the sacred descriptions of the Lord. See, this is what Mangalartik is. We're glorifying all the qualities of the Lord and the benefits obtained by service to the Lord that the spiritual master is giving us access to. He should listen carefully to the sacred descriptions of the Lord. He should pray to the Lord thus, O Lord Keshava, I shall fast on this day which is so dear to you, and tomorrow I shall honor your sacred prasadam. O lotus-eyed Lord, O infallible one, you are my only shelter. Kindly protect me. Having spoken this solemn prayer before the Lord with great love and devotion, one should fast cheerfully, O Narad. Whoever remains awake all night on this Ekadashi, singing beautiful songs, glorifying the Lord, dancing in ecstasy, playing delightful instrumental music for his transcendental pleasure, and reciting the pastimes of Lord Krishna as recorded in bona fide Vedic literatures, such a person will most assuredly reside far beyond the three worlds, in the eternal spiritual realm of God. This that is being said as the three worlds is what I've been describing when I describe what we envision in Gayatri is the three layers the universe is put into, the lower, the middle, and the upper planetary systems that are made for suffering, God realization, and then experiencing the result in the highest planetary systems of the pious activities the lower indulgence take part in. But this is saying to us, it goes even beyond that. That's what the spiritual world is. Oh, on Haribodhini Ekadashi, one should worship Lord Krishna with camphor, which we do, fruits and aromatic flowers, especially the yellow agaru flower. One should not absorb oneself in making money on this important day. In other words, greed should be exchanged for charity. This is the process for turning loss into unlimited merit. That's worth repeating. Unlimited. I love that word, unlimited. It's like eternal. And it reminds us of what we are, who we are, the substance we're made of, and who God is. Unlimited merit. One should offer many kinds of fruits to the Lord and bathe him with water from a conch shell. Each of these now, when we offer water like this with the water, that's what we're doing, bathing Krishna with a conch shell. Each of these devotional practices, when performed on Haribodhini Ekadashi, is 10 million times more beneficial than bathing in all the places of pilgrimage and giving all forms of charity. See, this is why Srila Prabhupada, by asking Krishna to come and accept worship, so much advised that the devotees worship Krishna in the temple and not to try and think of themselves as having their own place of worship in their homes as more significant and more important than that being done in the temple, because he knew by his own purity of asking Krishna that Krishna is here accepting. But this acceptance by Krishna is not done by every Tom, Dick, and Harry that roams in the street. Oh, Krishna, will you come and visit me in my home? And so this is what we have to get away from, the thoughts of believing and thinking that Krishna is some cheap form that we can just take for granted as being one of our chums. Srila Prabhupada said, even worshiping here, we know we're worshiping Krishna, but we're worshiping him in the mood of Mahavishnu. We're not worshiping him in the form of us being one of his chummy friends. Because out of respect, we have to realize those eternal associates of Krishna in the spiritual world are those that have never left from the spiritual world and chosen to take a place such as we have in the fallen state that we're finding ourselves in. So, the worship of, in the mood of Lord Krishna and the mood of worshiping Lord Vishnu in awe and reverence, nevertheless brings us to the standard of being able to eventually come to that etiquette by our mannerisms that we gradually develop automatically by our association with one another, by association with the scriptures, by seeing what association does for us and what it gives to us. And by purifying our hearts, then, eventually we will gain. Srila Prabhupada says face-to-face association with Krishna, but he has to be recognized as the Supreme Person. Now, how easy would we think about our getting the audience of the president of any nation in the world, right? It's not every day you can just walk into his office and say, I want to talk with you, you know. It doesn't work like that. But see, to a great extent, religions are promoting God to be of that nature. But, now, this concept of achintya bheda, abheda tattva, means that simultaneously, nothing comes from God that is not a part of God, that did not come from God. But at the same time, it's not him. And he is giving it such a stature of being that it is independent of him. Simultaneously, well, it is totally dependent upon him. See, so we have this idea ourselves of our own independence. And we see the world as independent of Mars. We see that Mars independent of Jupiter. And all these creations coming out of the body of the supreme creative form of God. Now, many people get the misconception because we are able, from the perspective the scriptures are giving us, to be able to see with the mind the way that Krishna sees and established in the universe, the system, the order, the way that things are, the laws of karma, the way they're functioning properly and perfectly at all times, and that nothing can stop them, except by his own choice, which our love for him can, as we're seeing here, see, abiding by this instruction Lord Brahma is giving to his son, from his having received it from Krishna himself, and revealing how happy it is. So if you choose yourself in any part to abide by this, you are revealing to Krishna that respect for him, and you are revealing to him that you value the truth of the words he's speaking. In regards to that, you're glorifying God. And it is a form of worship to God. So see, when we're communicating in the regular world with other people, we're not thinking of that glorification of another being as worship. But we do it. We do it. We do it to other people in our lives. And so when they see us put Srila Prabhupada in a place which most human beings would consider a place of worship, right? Because we bow down to him. We have words of respect that we approach him to, which may to some people seem quite foreign. I'm not going to bow down to another human being. I'm just as good as anybody, right? Isn't it? This is a false ego. Because Srila Prabhupada, at such an advanced age, to bring us the teachings that can deliver us from this planet and any planet in the universe, and its control, the force of karma that it has upon us. The etiquette set forth by the Supreme Person himself is that we have to come to a place of appreciation where we will bow down to the supreme powers that be. And in that place of imperfection that we find ourselves with a person who's able to bring us to a state of perfection, then we surrender and say, yes, I'm impossible to bring myself to that state. I surrender to you who has been brought to that state. And you are saying, Srila Prabhupada is saying through his teachings, that we will, by surrender in this way, be brought to that state of existence where we will be able to communicate with Krishna on a one-to-one basis. And see, Krishna gives us his own language. He gives us words of praise that he has in his own form of a servant, given as prayers to be recited. Much like Christians recite prayers given by the person they're calling Jesus Christ, which was not his name. Our Father who art in heaven, immediately puts the reciter of this in a position of awe and reverence towards the one they're considering to be God, right? So most paths, as far as I've seen, all spiritual paths, put the human being in that position towards the Supreme Person, who, it is not revealed by most paths, wants to bring us to that equality with him. And so if we follow these practices of etiquette, automatically that quality we will be brought up to the place where he will welcome us into his very most, which Lord Brahma, who we are reading from the words of, has entrance into that divine most place in this universe that is in the inside of the sun. Now, this goes along with, in Gayatri, the person who is sitting inside the sun on that golden throne, Lord Brahma was seen by Bhaktivinoda Thakur as being worshipped by Brahma on that golden throne, Lord Chaitanya. He is the avatar of this age who is himself in the form of God, giving us the practice he wants us to experience his happiness by. And so, in doing that, as Lord Chaitanya has said in his Shikshastakam prayers, which is, how many, I think it's 8 verses, 9 verses, 8 verses, right? He has stated that he has put all of his spiritual energy into the sound vibration that we can create by this chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. For us to be able to experience that, and by developing the mood of awe and reverence with that, and keeping in mind that it is his very energy that we are tapping into when we do that, that act in and of itself is pleasing him even more than this fasting. Because it is that process that will purify the mind by engaging in it. This fasting takes place over through the day, but chanting gives complete and total control of the mind. We might be thinking of all kinds of nonsense through the day while we're still fasting. But the chanting is even more significant because it gives this full control of the total senses of the body that is described in the Vedas as qualifying us to become able to make disciples. So this is how Srila Prabhupada got empowered to be able to bring disciples. But he came with Krishna from the spiritual world, which is revealed in a conversation by Krishna and Balaram themselves, revealed that Srila Prabhupada came here, realized. See, we're not of the same nature, most of us. I can speak pretty freely. But we can tell by the way we've lived our lives until we come to surrender to God. If we've been living for ourselves, or were we born with the desire to please God? So Prabhupada was holding Rath Yatra at 5 years old. So we see a distinct difference in those liberated souls that are coming here and will be coming here in the future more and more prominently as the golden age progresses. And so we can hope and know that there is a great future for us to look forward to. Even Lord Indra joins his palms and offers his obeisances to a devotee who worships Lord Janardhan with first-class Agastya flowers on this day. The Supreme Lord Hari is very pleased when he is decorated with nice Agastya flowers. O Nard, I give liberation to one who devotedly worships Lord Krishna on this Ekadashi in the month of Kartik with leaves of the bael tree. And for one who worships Lord Janardhan with fresh tulsi leaves, which we do every morning, and fragrant flowers during this month, O son, I personally burn to ashes all the sins he has committed for 10,000 births. One who merely sees Tulsi Maharani, touches her, meditates on her, narrates her history, offers obeisances to her, prays to her for her grace, plants her, worships her, or waters her, lives in the abode of Lord Hari eternally. And we're doing that every day. And we're always the same. We tell people, how do you find God? Oh, we worship a plant. They think you're crazy. Oh, Nard, one who serves Tulsi Devi in these 9 ways achieves happiness in the higher world for as many thousands of yugas as there are roots and subroots growing from a mature Tulsi plant. When a full-grown Tulsi plant produces seeds, many plants grow from those seeds and spread their branches, twigs, and flowers. And these flowers also produce numerous seeds. For as many thousands of kalpas as there are seeds produced in this way, the forefathers of one who serves Tulsi in these 9 ways will live in the abode of Lord Hari. Oh my God. It's 9 o'clock already. I got 2 more pages. 3 more pages. 4 more pages. Is everyone willing to continue listening? All right, I'm willing. Live in the abode of Lord Hari. Good. Those who worship Lord Keshava with kadamba flowers, which are very pleasing to him, get his mercy and do not see the abode of Yamaraj, death personified. See, Christians believe that hell is controlled by the head demon, the first demon of all. No. He doesn't have any rule about anything. The person who is ruling the planets of hell rules over the whole planetary systems of hell, which there are more than one planet of. There are planets for Brahmins. hellish planets for Brahmins who don't chant their Gayatri. There's hellish planets, for very evil men. And they're all made specifically for the specific offenses they are committing. But those who simply practice this, as being said, will be completely freed from those places as well. Now see, if we say Krishna, an expansion of Krishna is on a planet in this universe, people think we're worshiping more than one God. At the same time, they're saying an incarnation of God could come to this planet. At the same time, they're saying that an incarnation of God could dwell with them, their bodies with them. These are all expansions of Krishna that go to the extent the scriptures say that Krishna is in fact inhabiting every single atom that we see, and that in fact it is only by that presence of God within those atoms that make anything have substance. Because as even Christian scriptures say, everything that we see is made of things that we do not see. This is talking about at an atomic level. And this is also profoundly, to one who has a profound mind, Krishna conscious mind, I might add, that might be looked at as, if everything came from God, we can't see God with the gross eyes that we have because of the nature of the material energy, then it would seem that everything that comes from God also would not be able to be seen, right? So we are not able to see through these eyes that we have the spiritual body that God is remaining in. But in order for those souls that he has sent into this material universe apart from him to be able to have some conception of him, who are attracted by him to him, then he manifests in reality his form. But he restricts the knowledge of that to those people he gives that to, and tells the others, no, you should not make idols of me, or don't carve out images that I have not authorized. So we can see different instructions being given to different people according to their association, according to their relationship. An Ekadashi fast is complete when one offers a qualified Brahmin a gold or copper pot filled with ghee and ghee wicks, along with 8 water pots containing some gold and covered by cloths. One who cannot afford these gifts should at least offer a Brahmin some sweet words. But again, remember, this is the same thing. But again, remember, by reciting all of these names, you get the total benefit. Thank you very much. After offering his obeisances and begging permission, the devotee should eat his meal. On this Ekadashi, Chaturmasya ends. So whatever one gave up during Chaturmasya should now be donated to Brahmins. One who follows this process of Chaturmasya receives unlimited merit, O King of Kings, and goes to the abode of Lord Vasudeva after death. O King, anyone who observes the complete Chaturmasya without a break attains eternal happiness. My first guru took part in that. Srila Prabhupada told him he would become famous in all of India if he did that. If you look it up, this is one of the most severe forms of fasting. You go without eating only as much as you can take while you're bending down the grains that are dropped for you to be able to pick up off the ground without touching your hands to the ground. So many regulations you have to follow for, it's like Chaturmasya, like 4 months, I think it is. And one does not receive another birth. But if someone breaks the fast and becomes either a blind man or a leper, Thus I have narrated to you the complete process for observing Haribodhini Ekadashi. Someone who reads or hears about the Ekadashi achieves the merit earned by donating cows to a qualified Brahmin. That's in its narration. Now, do you want to recite all of the names of the Ekadashi? You want to get the full concept? Okay, let me put this in next to Ekadashi. All right, I'll recite the name and then you can repeat it after me. We'll go through these are the Vaishnava names, I believe. Yeah, Vedic name. There's a Vaishnava name and there's a Vedic name. We'll go by the Vedic name. Utthana, Mokshara, Safala, Putrara, Satila, Jaya, Vijaya, Amalaki, Papamochani, Kamala, Prabodhini, Mohini, Apara, Nirjal, Yogini, Padma, Kamika, Putrara, Aja, Parivartini, Indira, Papankush, Ram, Haribodhini, Padmini, Parama. Now, don't break the Ekadashi and you get the full. Now, see, I wanted to recite Lord Brahma. There's a very beautiful quote. You want to hear from what Lord Brahma has given? I don't know, I haven't read this book, so I don't know the book's authorization. But I do know that Lord Buddha is authorized. And so this is a quote by Lord Buddha. This is taken, where is it? Secret Doctrine, Volume 3, page 401. That we must not believe in a thing said merely because it is said. Not traditions because they have been handed down from antiquity, nor rumors as such, nor writings by sages because sages wrote them, nor fancies that we may suspect to have been inspired in us by a deva, that is, in presumed spiritual inspiration, nor from inferences drawn from some haphazard assumption we have made, nor because of what seems an analogical necessity, nor on the mere authority of our teachers or masters. But we are to believe when the writing, doctrine, or saying is corroborated by our own reason and consciousness. For this, says he in concluding, I taught you not to believe merely because you have heard, but when you believed of your consciousness, then to act accordingly and abundantly. I thought that was really inspirational to help us to know that this devotional service, which is called bhakti, is actually brought out in the scriptures as being more significant than any other part. And it is the activities we are engaging our lives in that will determine our next stage of development beyond this life. And so that bhakti is the energy that we have the choice to be able to engage ourselves in every day, and it's always there 24 hours, 7 days a week. And it's by choice that we can do that. So there's 9 processes of that, and all of them are made here available in the temple. If we have any questions about how we want to engage in those things, you can get a schedule to help you, be able to provide things for aiding the temple and its reach out to, other parts of society. We have programs where people are cooking food that could be used through the whole week. We have programs where people are passing out, distributing books, and establishing preaching centers, and going out and preaching. So many things need to be done. Any questions, any comments? We were going to have Srimad Bhagavatam class. Now I've run so over. I don't have anything else to do, but I don't want to keep you from doing what you need to do.
Those lines that you were speaking of, what are those 9 programs? He said
9 processes?
Yes.
Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Bandhanam, Dasham, Shakyam, Atmanivedam. So, Shravanam, Kirtanam, hearing, chanting, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, serving Lord Vishnu, serving Krishna in some way. Padasem, the lotus feet, serving the lotus feet of a pure devotee also. Archanam is worshipping. Vandhanam is serving again, taking various activities in the kitchen. Dashan as a servant, being a servant to, or taking the part of a servant to those who are serving. Atmanivedanam. Shakyam, becoming friends of. Shakyam, Atmanivedanam. What is it? Complete surrender, yeah. Surrendering mind, body. What is it? Mind, body, will. Surrender your will. There's like 4 things of surrender. Mind, your body, your will. The self, yeah, the self. I guess you would say that's everything. If you surrender the self, it would seem like everything's included in there. Right? The mind's in the self. Isn't it weird? The term myself, the more I analyze that term, I wonder who in the world came up with this idea that there is a self, but the one who is speaking about being it is talking about it as if it's something to own, my self. So the person who is doing the possessing is possessed by himself. We're possessed of ourselves. That's the ultimate false ego, isn't it? Myself. I want to own everything so much that it includes me. I got to own myself. This is where we are in this world, making decisions for ourselves, about ourselves, by ourselves, thinking we have the ability to do everything, to be the controller of our destiny. And that's totally based on the false ego's premise, that it is the enjoyer, it is the controller. And every one of these processes actually help in the breaking down of that, because you don't put yourself at the service of someone else thinking you're greater than they are. You know? And then, which is amazing, you think about it, because it's totally backwards in this world. We're gaining knowledge, we're saying, about the supremacy of the soul as compared to the nature of the physical body and its eternalness. But the world is saying, by controlling others, then you gain. See, and that's all false ego. All false ego. The whole society is set up on that concept. You know, I'm greater than you, I'm better than you, so as I get better, then I get paid more. This is all false ego, concepts of false ego. It's functioning, and with the mentality of there being so many people who are being governed and controlled by the modes of material energy, they have no governance over, that they think they're controlling themselves, governed totally by the desires of the mind, tongue, belly, and genitals. So eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. And if you go outside and stop anybody in the expressway what they're doing, ask them where they're going and what they're doing, you'll find it falls into one of those 4 categories: eating, sleeping, mating, or defending. You know, government is all defending. You know, we're going to protect you. You know, and going out to buy a new suit to look good for my sweetheart.
So what is the ball reversal in the correct way?
Eating and sleeping. What is what?
What is the ball reversal? Since the world is doing the controlling and manipulating for self, what is the correct
Reversal of that. That's the question we need to get to. Yeah, that is the creation. You could say of heaven on earth, I guess, you know. When everybody is working in cooperation with one another, seeing one another as valuable to each other as they are, and willing to lay down themselves for each other, for the benefit of one another. And the whole society is working for that, and every society in the world working like that. Working towards common goals. When all disease is conquered, and when all are believing the same philosophy, Srila Prabhupada said these will be the law books for 10,000 years. And as you study them, guaranteed, at the end of reading Srimad Bhagavatam, you'll be self-realized, as it's described as being. But if the whole world does this, then they will see that these are not just stories. And as we learn every day, every single verse has such a variety of very deep, meaningful expressions of life that are being revealed by people's experience of the past who were very elevated souls, themselves coming from, in some cases, the very spiritual world. In other cases, even the heavenly planets. And together, to reveal by their lifestyles the kind of lifestyles we should be living and the kind of experiences we should be having in order to be having the same relationships with the Supreme Person from whom all this is made for the purpose of, to bring us back to. And so that we can get back to Godhead and that we can be happy while we're getting there, and that we can be not only happy, but experiencing the very most happiness possible in human form. Which is why the term they're using to describe the nature of the soul is bliss, or ecstasy. And we should be that way all the time. So that would be the end. And everybody being like that, experiencing happiness and bliss and suffering and all these disasters being brought about by the modes of material energy being forced by the karmic reactions of people, which, like just keeping Ekadashi, we're being totally freed from. We might not see it as a universal effect, but whatever karma is not coming to us now is removed from what will be brought down to the entirety. So even though we're just a little speck, we're reducing it to some extent, universally. We're just little specks, but we're part of the machine. Little parts of the machine as we might be. That car has a lot of screws, but you take one out and its purpose upon something's going to fall off. So we're all little parts of the body of God. And He wants us all to be in one piece with Him, serving the same purpose. To experience His happiness. That's what Krishna consciousness means. Being as happy as God is. So come and dance with God. Come and sing God's song. And experience God's presence. That's what the message is. That's what He wants us to do. That's all He asks us to do. Be happy by singing and dancing and realizing His presence all the time. Realizing His kind of thinking.
So, what's happening tomorrow night? Tomorrow night at the temple is what's happening tomorrow night.
I'm the last one that usually finds out. I don't know until it's going on.
The marriage, is it the wedding?
No.
Oh, okay.
What drama? The kids are putting on a drama?
Yeah, okay.
Wow.
The next week is Tulsi Vivah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm a week short, okay.
See, the way my life is geared, no matter what happens, I'm doing it, I'm a part of it anyways. So you don't have to know what's going on. Going to be making an offering, one way or another. Any other questions? John? John, the Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ekadashi ki jai.